Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic recently reported following the move from Craig Counsell to the Chicago Cubs that the Milwaukee Brewers are open for business on all of their players. And, you know, I can't think of every roster off the top of my head, but I knew they had a few players that could fit the Braves' needs. Then I went and looked at it, and the guys that they could be on the move, it's almost like Christmas because it's literally every single position that the Braves need filled. The Brewers could fill it. You start off with Corbin Burns, one of the best pitchers in the entire league. He's on a one-year deal. He's almost guaranteed to be gone because there was some friction, and this shouldn't really be the case, but some players do take offense when you take them to arbitration when they're that good, over $1 million or $500,000. And there was some friction there. If they are going through a rebuild, he's gone. Another starter, Freddie Peralta. He's even the more intriguing one because he's under contract for $5 million this year, $8 million in 2025, $8 million in 2026. That's a fantastic contract for a guy who has a 3.41 ERA over the last 3 seasons. So you want to talk about cost-controlled starters, which is something Alex Anthopoulos will use and reiterate throughout the entire offseason and after the offseason and almost every day of his life. If he was in front of a camera, you would hear that saying. That's the definition of Freddie Peralta. But let's move away from the starting pitchers. Relief pitchers, Devin Williams, one of the best relief pitchers in the entire league. One of the few relief pitchers I think you could justify giving up top prospects for. He's under contract for 2 more years at an affordable rate, 2 years of arbitration. He's might be the best reliever in baseball over the last 3 seasons. 1.89 career ERA since he entered the league in 2019. Just unbelievable. Then you have Willy Adames, a guy that I actually mentioned earlier in this offseason. My deal with Adames is he's only got 1 year, and then you'd have to pay him. We didn't want to pay Swanson, so I have a hard time believing they're going to say, all right, we need to pay Adames. But definitely an upgrade both offensively and defensively over Orlando Arcia, and I wouldn't mind us upgrading the shortstop position because that's probably the one weak link. Then you go to left field, Christian Yelich. The big problem is his contract. He's not the MVP player that he once was. Still had an 818 OPS last year. Now he's getting paid $26 million over the last 4 years, $20 million mutual option in the 5th year, which I believe is 2029. That's way too much money. But the Brewers, if they're trying to move this and retool, they're going to eat a large chunk of that change. Or maybe they'd give you Devin Williams too, because you ate that money. So this has the potential. And the last thing I want to mention is the Brewers. I don't know the name of their GM off the top of my head, but they completed this 3-way trade with the Athletics, and both sides actually came out happy. William Contreras, who just got honored with the Silver Slugger Award. Sean Murphy, he's an all-star catcher. Both sides really happy. There's clearly some sort of relationship that a deal can get done between these two guys. I would go out on a limb here, especially with the way Alex Anthopoulos loves to trade things, and say that the Milwaukee Brewers and the Atlanta Braves complete some sort of trade this offseason.
Yeah, it has all the makings, and I will take your comments and work backwards. I do want to defend Yelich a little bit. Maybe being in a Braves lineup with all this power, can't pitch around anybody, certainly benefits him. So I do like the idea of potentially adding Yelich. And yeah, the Brewers have to eat some of that contract, or especially for maybe a Braves team that doesn't have the prospect capital, maybe they don't eat as much. So that is a deal that could potentially work out. Devin Williams is actually the one that I'm most intrigued about because it's that guy. It's that guy that can absolutely cement the Braves bullpen. Listen, a guy like Devin Williams isn't going to show up in the regular season in spades. There's going to be multiple times throughout the year where you're like, wow, I'm so glad I had Devin Williams. But when he's really going to matter is in the postseason. When you got A.J. Minter and Raciel Iglesias in the 7th and 9th inning, and then you got Devin Williams. That's a guy that I have absolutely no problem paying a high price for in terms of prospect capital or potentially major league talent, whether that's a Vaughn Grissom-esque type in a bigger trade package. So Devin Williams is the one I've got my eye on the most. But then you keep going, like you said, to the starters. I mean, this is a perfect opportunity for the Braves to potentially package multiple prospects, maybe A.J. Smith-Shawver / Hurston Waldrop / Vaughn Grissom, to get multiple of these guys. Now, I did want to preface, unfortunately, the Dodgers have the exact same needs as the Braves, pretty much the exact same needs, and they have a much better farm system. So a blockbuster mega trade with the Braves, for our eyes, seems like, heaven. But in Dodgers fans' eyes, they are looking at the same exact prospect of potentially adding the best reliever in baseball, one of the best starters in baseball, and a former MVP candidate. The Dodgers are looking at this and licking their lips just like Braves fans are. I'm not exactly sure who the Brewers would probably rather do business with in terms of, major league talent. The Braves have got it. AJ Smith-Shawver is ready to contribute today. Vaughn Grisham's ready to contribute today. Hurston Waldrop is a little bit further behind, but he's knocking on the MLB's door. He's going to make his MLB debut in 2024. Whether he contributes to a winning team is another thing entirely, but maybe with the Brewers, he can take his lumps, and I don't know. I just think that there's a match made in heaven. If they want to have a fire sale, Alex Anthopoulos is going to be on the phone.
Yeah, I mean, you say the Dodgers. I would just equate it to the entire league. Every competitive team could use a Corbin Burns or a Devin Williams,
that's true.
Or
that's
even
true.
a Christian Yelich if you're able to let them eat the money, or a Brandon Woodruff, who we didn't even mention, but he's dealing with a shoulder injury. I'd probably not want to go the injured route considering what the Braves have dealt with in the past, particularly shoulder injuries. Or a Willy Adames. So all these guys are going to have immense trade value. We'll see if they want to trade everyone, but I don't expect any of it to be this mega blockbuster trade. I've seen people like, we get 3 guys. It's like, no, we're going to get 1. Like,
we'll get Devin Williams.
Let's just be happy with one of these guys. Let's one person trade. Let's be a little realistic with the situation. So I'm not expecting something crazy. But I do think all 5 of these guys could potentially be gone if they really want to replenish everything and rebuild from the top with a new manager, which I think is a possibility. And I think the Braves should be one of the first teams on the phone because, this is the way that Alex Anthopoulos prefers to operate. He prefers to trade rather than deal with, bidding wars in free agency. Coming up after the break, what we do on Fridays. We're going to give you our best bets of the weekend for the college football playoff. We are making you money. Just come on, help us out.